This is an M2 13-inch MacBook Air that I just picked up a month ago for around $500 at a local repair shop. It's your typical local repair shop like they sell and repair iPhones, MacBooks, iPads, whatever. The point is, I saw that they had an M2 MacBook Air for sale and I thought the price was quite good, so I ended up taking a closer look at it. This is of course the M2 base model 13-inch in Starlight with 8 gigs of RAM and the 8 GPU cores instead of the full 10 GPU cores. But is it worth picking up one today in 2026? Well, let's find out. This thing is an amazing machine, but it does have a few downsides that we need to go through and I need to showcase. Now, I remember when I was in the store and I picked this up. It looked flawless, like absolutely perfect. It had no dents, no scratches, nothing. And I asked the seller, hey, I want to buy this. What can you tell me about it? And he said, yep, it's in perfect condition. We didn't even have to change the battery or anything. The entire refurbishment process was basically us just cleaning it. And yeah, it came in at a lower price because it didn't come with the original box that it shipped with. But I said, yeah, that's no problem. I don't care about the box. And even before turning it on, I did something very important. I flipped it around, I took the serial number and I ran a full check on it. Whenever I buy used Apple products, I always check, is it iCloud or activation locked? Is it still under warranty? Is there anything, suspicious tied to it? And for that, I use PhoneProof, the sponsor of today's video. Within a few seconds, I could confirm. It had no iCloud lock, no activation lock, and yes, while the warranty was expired, it was a clean device. And that's exactly what you want to see when buying refurbished. The best part is that you only need the serial number. So if you're buying online, just ask the seller for the serial number and run a quick check. If they hesitate, that's already a big flag. So yeah, I'll leave PhoneProof linked down below if you want to check your own device before buying, but trust me, you do. And after confirming that everything looked good, I did raise the warranty thing with the seller and I told him that, hey, look, this is perfect, but the warranty is expired. And they said, yes, the official Apple warranty may be expired, but the thing is, in order to comply with local laws, we need to offer you a 2-year warranty, warranty of our own, regardless. So I said, wow, $500, 2 years warranty, I'm in. So I bought it on the spot. Oh, and by the way, here's another pro tip when buying used MacBooks. Take a look at the keyboard. If it's shiny, like you can see here, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily dirty because I just cleaned this up with isopropyl alcohol. No, the shiny keys basically mean that this thing was used quite intensely. But if you take a look at this, the keys are fully matte. In fact, the keys are exactly the same as my 13-inch MacBook Air that I bought like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's another pro tip. So when I got home and set it up, my wife absolutely loved it, especially in Starlight. And honestly, this thing looks very modern. You get a 2560 by 1664 resolution, a 60Hz display, 500 nits of brightness, thin bezels, the notch, of course, and the newer flat design, which I really like. And side by side with my M4 MacBook Air, they literally look identical. Except for the colors, there's absolutely no difference whatsoever. The build quality is excellent, the speakers are very good, and the battery life is amazing. It's over 15 hours with normal use. And remember how the seller said that they didn't have to replace the battery? But let me just show you this, like I couldn't believe it. So if we open up Coconut battery, take a look at this. So it's at 28 charge cycles with 97% battery health. And that's just practically brand new. Like this thing really wasn't used at all. So yeah, I think this was a good purchase. So what about performance? Well, let's have a quick chat about the M2 chip. And honestly, the M2 chip is more than fast enough for, web browsing, office work, lectures, light creative work, multitasking, doesn't matter. It's actually quite fast. And even my wife said that this thing feels extremely snappy. And keep in mind, she's coming from an Intel MacBook, so this jump is huge. And you can already tell that the desktop is super cluttered because she is using it for dentistry lectures. So yeah, this machine started getting a lot of work done ever since I bought it. But let's have a quick chat about the downsides of this machine. So first of all, it only comes with 8 gigs of RAM. And yes, macOS is very efficient when it comes to RAM, and memory compression also helps, but 8 gigabytes in 2026, that's not really enough for, future-proofing. So if you plan on keeping this for, 4 to 5 years, do some heavy multitasking, run creative apps, you really want the 16 gigabyte version. If you open more than 5 to 6 Safari tabs, you will already see the memory pressure gauge going up. So 8 gigs of RAM in 2026, I'm not a fan. The second downside is the slow SSD, and this is something that a lot of people don't mention or don't talk about. You see, the base M2 MacBook Air, so this machine, with 256 gigabytes, only has a single NAND chip. The M1, M3, and M4 models use two NAND chips, which basically means almost double the speed. In real life, no, you won't notice the slower SSD speeds, but copying large files, trust me, you'll notice it immediately. And my wife does copy a lot of files here and there. So yeah, it is a bit slower. I mean, again, compared to her old Intel MacBook, it's a huge step up. But when compared to other M series MacBooks, it's quite a bit slower. And again, the slower SSD isn't a deal breaker, but it's worth knowing. Editor's note here, so I'm just running Blackmagic's disk speed test, and as you can tell, the M2 MacBook scores around 1800 megabytes per second write and 1500 megabytes per second read. And that's fine up until you put it next to the M4 MacBook Air, which scores almost double. So 2200 writes and almost 3000 reads. So yeah, you can see what I mean with the disk speed difference. Again, you're only going to notice this if you transfer a lot of files. But either way, this is good to know. And by the way, both of them are the 256 gigabyte models. So yeah. But now, back to the video. And the third and final downside is the timing of the purchase. And honestly, for most people, and including me, this might be the biggest issue. Why? Well, for $500, I don't fully recommend it. If you can find it for $400, maybe $450, yeah, that's fine. But $500, no. And at $500, it becomes so much harder to justify because the A18 budget MacBook is literally just around the corner. And yes, if you didn't know, Apple is planning on releasing a budget MacBook that'll cost around $650, and it's set to release in March or April, so literally a month away. That machine will also have a faster single-core performance, which is what matters for most everyday tasks. And it'll also be a brand new machine. And keep in mind, while I did get lucky here and I practically got a new machine with a brand new battery, so yeah, I would probably wait for that MacBook instead. So why did I buy it? Well, simply put, because my wife needed a MacBook immediately for dentistry lectures and for work, and we couldn't wait. And in that situation, I guess it made sense. So if you need a MacBook today for around $500, yeah, this is still a very good option. I'll drop the Amazon link below if you're interested in checking current prices. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into. So as a final verdict, this machine has an amazing design, it feels modern, the battery life is amazing, it's still fast enough, but keep in mind, 8 gigs of RAM limits it quite a lot, the SSD is quite slower than expected, and the pricing matters a lot, as I said. But again, if the price is right, this is a fantastic machine for 2026. So either way, if you found this video useful, check the links below for current pricing on Amazon, and of course check out PhoneProof if you're buying used tech. It literally can save you hundreds of dollars. But my question to you is, would you buy this M2 MacBook Air in 2026? Let me know in a comment down below. And as always, this was Dave on Tech, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!